Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in our webinar. Today, we'll be focusing on the real estate market in Portugal in such a difficult and challenging time as the one we are experiencing. With us, we have our General Manager, Rafael Ascenso, and
Hi.
our partnership, sorry? No. And our partnership director, João Reis, with whom
Hi there.
many of you have already spoken. During this hour, we will talk about the behavior on the sales and rental markets, how customers are responding to this pandemic, and how we can together face and overcome the session. You're more than welcome to write all your questions and comments in the box on your right. I believe it is on your right, which will be answered at the end of the session. If you have any further questions, João Reis will be more than happy to assist you and help you. Now I'd like to start with Rafael. How do you define the moment we are living in compared to 2009, for example?
Yes, like you said, it's challenging times, completely different from 2009, because it is a situation that it's nobody's fault. I mean, you have no one to blame, and it's global. So we all have to face the same problem and to have a common answer and a common solution to this problem. So it's completely different from 2009. I'm very optimistic that we will come out of this very strong. And to understand a little bit what's going to happen, I think it's good if we go back to the previous year, 2019, and have a small explain what was going on during that year. As you all know, for the past 5 years, we had an intensive growth here in Portugal, not only on prices, but mostly on demand. And we reached a point in 2019 where the market was adjusting. There was an adjustment in the prices, and it was good because finally the market was much more mature, much more solid, and the demand continued. So it was good. And in the beginning of this year, the same. We experienced exactly the same. What I think it's going to happen is that this adjustment that we started in 2019 will be faster in the next months. I don't believe there will be a fall in the prices. I don't expect it. Perhaps in some particular cases, some exceptions, people that are going to lose some income, that are going to unemployment, some of them, or if they want some liquidity to start new business, perhaps. But there are, it's not the average of the market. I mean, it will be some punctual situations that are not going to make the market. So I believe that the demand will return. We are already experiencing that demand because we had a lot of business in pipeline and nobody gave up from those business. So we had some foreigners also. As you know, 65% of our business in Porto de Francisco are foreigners. So it's very important for us, the foreign market, and that's why we are here. All of us are here to give you this optimistical perspective of this moment and to give you some data of what's going on and to sustain that optimism. And that's one of the good things because nobody gave up of the business that we had in pipeline, and we did some contracts, several contracts for the past 3 weeks. So that's very positive and give us an excellent perspective for the next weeks and especially for the next months. Because if you analyze, the basics are still here. I mean, like I told you, the globalization of this current situation doesn't appoint one country that behaved bad or something that went wrong in those basics of each country. So we had for the past 5 years a completely different and sustainable real estate market. Not much credit, not from the developers or from the buyers, which give us a very solid situation in this moment. With the exceptions that I gave you before, I believe that nobody will be in the rush to sell. So I don't think that the prices will fall. And I believe also that the preparation on the will be done by mostly by the foreigners in the first weeks and months, followed by the Portuguese. So that's my perspective for the next month.
Okay, perfect. Can you tell us a bit more about how the sales and the rental markets are behaving during these different times?
Yes, like I told you, the sales market is still on. Of course, we don't have the same number of leads that we had before, because people, even if they like some property, they cannot come to make an inspection or to view the property. So we have to, and we are doing a lot of work through new technologies. We'll speak about it a little bit later. But of course, the number of leads reduced, and but there are very interesting people in buying in Portugal. There are now a lot of articles that you can mention, Anna, that are pointing Portugal as an example of how to deal with this situation. And so I believe that the sales will come back quick, because after this period, we still have the same attractives for foreigners that we had before, and perhaps even reinforced by this period, because the way we are dealing this as a country, we come much more closer to each other and much more solidarity in these moments in our country. So I believe that we are doing a great job, and we are transmitting a very good image of ourselves, of our country. And perhaps, Anna, you could mention some of those articles and some of the things they are comment about our country.
Yes, sure. In the past few days, we've seen articles from New York Times, Forbes magazine, and also our neighbor El País, in which all of them saluted Portugal and referred Portugal as an excellent example on how we are treating this this different and difficult situation. Forbes magazine, for example, chose 3 countries to retire, and Portugal was one of them as the perfect country to retire for our beach coast, our weather, our cuisine, our French ingredients, our ability to receive foreign people, to speak more than one language, mainly English, for example. In New York Times, they referred Portugal as a united country, especially for our political differences are now erased because we are united with one common goal, which is to treat this COVID-19. So all press, especially the international media, have been very appraisal of Portugal and how good the country is, how perfect, how good are the healthy infrastructures, the education infrastructures, and how united we in fact are during this crisis. Rafael, I would like also to ask you to talk a bit more about the maintenance of Golden Visa and the NHR regime. I think it's important at this time.
Yes, very important. As you know, there was some, some news in the beginning of the year that the government wanted to change those two programs. After this, of course, it's impossible to change it or to restrict it. I think that we have to incentivize it, and the government already told that they are going to maintain the programs, and not only for this year, perhaps for the next years, because it will be of great importance for us to attract foreigners investors. So that's a good news. But not only that, because if you think about it, after this, we still have all the same attractives that we had before, not only the ones that Anna mentioned, but we still have the best ratio cost versus life quality. We still have all the friendship that we demonstrate to all the foreigners that come and visit us, and the warm welcome that we give to them when they come here. It will be the same. So all the main reasons that lead people to us and to look at our country as an ideal place to live, to invest, they are intact and perhaps reinforced after this period. And that's the strongest message I want to leave with you, and that I think that you have to pass to your clients. And it's true. I mean, it's I'm 100% confident that it's true, and so I think it's the strongest message that we have now.
And how does Porta de Friend Christie's has been reacting and preparing for this scenario?
Well, we had for the past years, without knowing that this is going to happen, we have had prepared ourselves for moments like this, with a lot of tools, IT tools. We have a multi-channel service, PF360, and we have the possibility of virtual meetings like the one that we are having now. So we have a lot of tools that can help us, virtual tours, 3D videos. So we have, and we have used it in the past, especially with foreigner clients that could not come for different reasons. And we had an historic of sales made without inspections, without presential visit to the properties. So we were already prepared for that, because for the past years we invest a lot in those technologies.
Yes, perfect.
And for you to have an idea of the moment and our optimism about it, I would like to give you 3 or 4 numbers things that have happened in the past 3 weeks. For instance, we started and concluded 2 sales, big sales, one of 3.5 million and another one of 1.2. We started and concluded 7 rentals in this period, and we have much more to close during this week and the next week. So the dynamic, it's not the same, of course, but exists, and that's important. And so I think it's good signs for the future. Sorry.
Yes. Before we continue, let me just remind our participants, you can write your questions at the right box. We'll be more than glad to help you and assist you. Please don't forget to write your questions so we can answer them at the end of the session. Now for the next questions. I don't know if this is for Rafael or João, maybe for both of you. What is the best strategy for partners to adopt at this time?
João can ask us, can answer that question.
We believe that this is the ideal time to value the investment market through the offer of developments. Okay. These are safe investments which will be ready to live in the recovery period after the coronavirus, and they present high quality in good locations and good opportunities for investment appreciation. That it's one of the main things that we think that it's very good to have deals, because in the near future we can have a very good appreciation. Okay, and we have a lot of these developments to show to our partnerships and to be presented to their clients. Okay. Main of these points, I think that the importance of partnerships and working together to overcome this challenge phase is crucial. It's crucial because more decisively, partnerships are important during and in the post-coronavirus period. Only with the union of all, with the sharing of business, always in a win-win logic, will it be possible to overcome this period in a superior way. For us, the importance of partnership is the main reason that we are here, and we have a lot of things to do with you, and it's a very dedicated work that we are doing now, and we are concluded all this work only with you. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very important for you all to know that João is completely available to provide you all the information, not only for new developments, but also for properties that you find that it's suitable for your clients. So I challenge you to look at this as an opportunity. And we have a marketing department with 8 people, all focused on producing marketing tools that you can use to reach your clients. So please use that department. They are completely available for you. So let's take the opportunity of doing something special in this period. That's the challenge that we all have. And I believe that will be a win-win situation, like João said.
And please tell us what is important to you to adjust our work directly to you, and to customize some of this work to be used by you directly for your clients, and to achieve all the goals that we together need. Okay.
Yes, I think I can complete a bit what Rafael just said about the marketing department. We have lots of material regarding investing in Portugal. We have 3, 4, 5 ebooks about coming to Portugal. We have ebooks about golf. If you have customers who are golf lovers, we have ebooks about schools, private schools, public schools for your clients who have a family, and for them it's important for sure to know what are the best schools in Portugal. We have also ebooks regarding Golden Visa and the NHR regime for you to explain better to your clients. So we have a lot of materials we can share with you. João can share with you. We can also produce new materials tailor-made just for you and for your clients. If you have a special need or a special client, would you like to present some unique material, we can help you with that. So we are totally available to produce any kind of content or material just to help you sell Portugal to your clients.
Yes, and we have a lot of videos to be used
Yes, also.
by you if necessary, and we can adjust inclusive with your logo in the end. It's something dedicated that we can use by you.
Yes. I would just like to ask both of you to talk a little bit about the importance of our homes in this difficult situation. I think it's really important now. Our houses are more than ever valuable. So if you can talk a bit more about that.
Yeah, it's true. It's this situation gives you an idea how important it is to invest on real estate. That's the crucial point.
Yeah.
Where do you feel safe at home? Where do you feel comfortable at home? So at this moment, I think that people um, are looking at their home and ask, well, this is the home I want. This is the home where I want to be. Perhaps most of them doesn't spend much time at home, and for the first time they are experiencing their home. And
Yes.
also an opportunity to challenge them to improve, challenge them to change, and also to reinforce the idea that there is no better investment than in real estate. That's the only investment where you can feel comfortable and safe. Anna, are you there? Sorry, Anna, we lost Anna, but like Anna said, you can.
Yes, I'm returning.
Yes, but you can send the questions to, and we'll be glad to answer your questions right now if you want. Otherwise, you can contact João
Yeah.
and ask him for all the contents you need to do your work.
I'm fully available to talk with you and to work together and to adjust all the possibilities that we have to guarantee the best solutions and the best results for us, for you, and for us directly. Okay. And as Hannah said, we have a lot of things to show you.
Yes, perfect. I would now ask you some questions for our participants. We have one from Renata. Do you think the prices of real estate in Portugal will be affected and change? Many of my clients are concerned.
Yeah, look, it's. I believe that in a first moment there is the tendency to do that, but there is not many people pressured to sell, unlike 2009 and unlike other crises where you had a lot of pressure to sell because the people were completely had loans for everything. Developers had loans from the moment of the acquisition to the construction and everything. But since then, the paradigm changed completely. So the bases are completely different. I believe that there will be some people with that kind of pressure to sell and to drop prices in the first moment. I mean, people that are going to lose their jobs or are going to lose their business or their business needs some liquidity to move on. Perhaps they will consider selling their properties and perhaps they will sell in a lower price than the average. But I think that's only a first moment and it's exceptions. It will not be the rule. I don't believe that will be a considerable drop on the prices. Um, I don't I don't agree with that. I mean, it's perhaps we'll have some exceptions. I'm sure it will, but it will not be the rule. And once the demand, the dynamic of the demand we had before moves on, and we recover that dynamic again, I believe that we will start in the level of prices we had before.
Okay, thank you. We have many people asking João's email, so I'm telling you, I'm writing you on the comment box, João Reis at portadafrente.pt. I wrote it also, so you can write it. Now we have another question from Alexandra. Post this quarantine period, do you expect to have more family-oriented buyers or investors?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that we'll have both because the attractive of Portugal for families, like I told you before, it will be there, perhaps even reinforced. So it will be very attractive because insecurity and infrastructures will have the same, and the willing to have here new families coming from abroad will be even higher. So I believe that families would come from the traditional markets like Scandinavian, Brazil, the Orient, China, Hong Kong, South Africa. It's a very good market, and of course from England, which raised a lot before, and I think it will be great market for the next years. And the United States, it's curious that for the past years, we didn't have many people from the United States, but for the 1 year and a half, a lot of people from the States come and want to live here. And for investors also, because I think this is a very mature market, and we prove it in 2019, where when was this adjustment, everybody was thinking that that adjustment didn't arrive, but it arrived, which is a proof that we have a very mature market. So it's very interesting for the investors. Perhaps they will not make much money in 1 or 2 years' time, but they will have a very interesting rate of return. And if they want to rent, they will have market to rent. So I think for both markets will be pretty good to invest here.
Okay. In the next question, I'm not sure you can help, but but I'm gonna ask anyway. Do you feel any difficulties from the clients who need a credit in this difficult time? Do you feel the relationship with the banks is more difficult the current situation?
Look, in this current situation, we are, it only has 4 weeks. The people who asked for loans before, so business that we had in pipeline and that we converted them during this period, the loans were there. So the banks didn't retreat and said, well, with this situation, I don't give you any money. No, it didn't happen. So they lend the money to the people that have asked before. We don't have enough data to tell you that if the banks will retreat or will continue to lend money to the real estate market acquisitions. I believe so, because it's a very safe market for the banks. And so I believe so, but I cannot guarantee that because we don't have yet enough information. But I believe that, and I believe that also all these credit lines that the banks have now at their disposal, all the incentives that the central bank gave to all the European countries that need, allows the bank to get money very cheap, and so they can put it in the market at a very good price. So I believe that the real estate market will be benefit by those programs.
Okay, thank you. At the moment, we have no more questions. Rafael and João, would you like to add anything or something before we end the session?
Well, I'll like to go back to the beginning and say that 65% of our sales are in Porto Franco for foreigners. And in previous years, more than that. We had 2015, 80% of our sales were to foreigners. And we were supported in most of those sales, most of those versions. We were supported by our partners abroad. So we give a lot of importance to all of you, and we count with you to the future, for today, and special for the future. And I'm very optimistic about the future of our country and of the future of our real estate market. And thank you very much again for joining us in this meeting. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate and ask us to provide with anything that you require. Thank you very much.
Rafael, let me just interrupt you one more time. I'm sorry. We have one last question from Michelle Piram, who asks, do you have any expectation for travel? What is your time expectation for on-site visits?
Well, the $1 million question, I think. Well, doesn't depend on us. For us, it will be tomorrow, but I believe none of us are sure about it. I hope that in the end of May, people can start traveling. It will be great for us, for our market, and at least to have a perspective of when it could be done, when it can be done. But frankly, I don't know. But I hope that in the second half of May, that might be possible.
Yes. João, I don't know if you'd like to add something before we end the session.
Well, I'll be pleased to receive all your comments and your contacts, and anything you want, please feel free to contact me. I consider this is an excellent moment and a huge opportunity to strengthen our relationships and to do business together.
Okay, just to send you hello and congratulations from Ax from Brazil. They commented on our YouTube. So hello to us from Brazil. So we would end our session now. Thank you so much for joining us. As João was saying, we are totally available to help and assist you in these moments. João's email is joaoreis@portadafrente.pt. We are always available to you. So thank you, Rafael. Thank you, João. Have a nice afternoon and see you soon.
Right.